or something.
Oh my god.
That's fine. I think we still won the game. It's all chill.
All right. Just showing how awesome you are at the game. All right, I'm down
Thank
for
you.
that. All right.
10 seconds remaining.
Interesting. So the draft, a little bit of a
5
change up
seconds remaining.
They're deciding to leave the K in and give that to Undying if they.
Radiant
Yeah,
team
No
pick.
for sure.
Facts.
Ban this Viper. Ban Viper. Don't give Viper to anyone during the series. This hero is so broken. We didn't pick on Arkosh because I didn't want to win. I really didn't want to play cast play, but yeah, it's really strong.
That I remember you were saying,
10 seconds
you know,
remaining.
that Wyvern Viper AUI. You were saying like that's something to be
5
contended with.
seconds
That's something to be
remaining.
afraid of. It's
Dire
like
team
2 heroes into the draft. You're like, I like this draft.
Kill 'em all,
and
kill
it
'em all.
turned out exactly the way that you predicted it. Viper was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just, you know, Viper's a hero. If he can stand in a fight, you can't move past him because he deals too much magical damage. He slows you down. It's so hard to move forward on the map. There's no different ways. And
10
the counter to that
seconds
is usually
remaining.
to try to burst him because he is still an agility hero. He's relatively
5 seconds remaining.
squishy into a lot of HP items. But Wyvern completely solves that. It's not even just a code embrace. It's if you grew up to kill a hero, you're gonna get cursed. You know, you
Dire
get a couple of
team
great
back.
curses specifically off that. And okay, a much more balanced approach to Team Undying. We saw 4 Zoomers the last draft. They picked 2 cores in the first 2. I think the end state of the draft really reflected that. You lack things in your
Radiant
draft
team
because you
back.
expose too much of it.
I really want to see Zoomers take Storm Spirit at some series, and I would love it this game in particular. I felt like Gunnar looked really good on that in the last series. As much as they've been playing like this Sammy Boy, big,
10 seconds
like
remaining.
be-all, end-all carry, I want to have Gunnar have more impact.
5 seconds
In
remaining.
that last game, he went 0 and 5, and Bryle had like, I don't know how many kills was it?
Dire team
13
back.
kills. 13, 0 and 7 versus 0 and 5. Like, that's not necessarily just Gunnar playing poorly. That's like him also not being set up for success because he's playing against a freaking Viper. So like, give him a better matchup. And I really want to see the Zoomers try and make that a priority.
Yeah,
10
I agree.
seconds remaining.
Okay. Lyrical, can you tell me a little bit about this Dragon Knight pick?
5
Dragon Knight is
seconds
banned
remaining.
a lot, and he's also one of like the most like highly picked heroes. Can you explain to me why that makes him such a high value pick, especially like earlier in the
Radiant
draft?
team back.
Yeah, he's very, very strong in the laning phase in terms of being able to get through it and not just like lose terribly. And then on top of that, he does get into that blink dagger, which is what we've been seeing them rush more often than not. It's like a really low initiation cost spell. So like he
10
can blink
seconds
forward,
remaining.
stun, and like you can sort of keep going with that constantly and
5
consistently.
seconds
Pair that
remaining.
together
Dire
with
team
some
back.
Link, and now all of a sudden you have a
Radiant
shooter that can
team
follow
back.
up afterwards. You've got great initiation, and then also he provides tower tanking abilities with, at a pretty low cost as well. So there's that. You can flex him all over the place. He's great. Like in DPC Season 2 in the lower division, we even saw D2 Hustlers that were running this as a 4 position
10
on
seconds
Demon, and
remaining.
it like looked pretty freaking solid. So like this hero just on the whole,
5
because of how
seconds
strong
remaining.
it's done in, it just works really well. And then the counter to that is Undying are taking the axe away, which I don't know if I agree with. What do you think, Ali? Is that like taking the axe instead of the DK? I guess that's just an Undying thing.
I mean, first pick Axe. I mean, it's DK, as you were mentioning, is better on second pick because you can flex him better on second pick. I mean, I don't think these teams are playing for DK, which I actually think is quite strong, but I'm not too sure. It's just maybe a read they had. Like, Brax, despite them losing that game, I think he looked pretty good that game overall. He had a couple of like TPs that get cancelled by last minute stuns, and it looks like he's just dying, but he put a lot of pressure on that map, and he played his lane extremely well. I mean, they killed this like the counter lane 2 times, so this might be more of like a respect ban pick, you know, like an extra ban than it is like we really want Axe.
Interesting. We're seeing a lot of the carries get banned out right now too. No Luna, no Ursa, no Medusa, no Terrorblade, no Spectre. So how does that look for this
Radiant
game so
team
far?
pick.
Both teams still need it, or maybe Undying could do like carry axe or something. But what does this look like?
Yeah, this seems to be part of the meta where you pick your
Dire
carry really
team
early
pick.
or it gets banned out. It's the same
Storm
as as you
Spirit.
said, the Storm Spirit.
go.
Okay, so that means they're committing Dragon Knight to position 3 and probably the Storm mid, which reveals a bit of the draft. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised because with so much of the carry pool banned out, I don't know what you're
10
gonna pick.
seconds
I mean, I think
remaining.
I would say it's a good Gyro Cup game, but that hero's like doing really bad in the
5
qualifiers.
seconds
It's a
remaining.
steal,
Pick.
Eastern European build where they go like 0-1-4 stats, and that one actually looks pretty good. It's IOTW and V Team doing it, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I guess this is Zoomers saying now that they kind of want to have like their Storm
10
as their
seconds
carry
remaining.
game, like real carry sort of.
It's
5
like 2
seconds
lines of
remaining.
thinking, right? Because like either you can get like a slightly better carry now, but the thing is, all the top tier ones are banned out. Like the 4 top tier carries right now are Dusa, Luna, Terrorblade, and Spectre. So if all these are banned out, maybe it's not worth picking a second tier carry now. If like you could just grab sort of like a second or tier third one with a better matchup as last pick. Like even Lifestealer, as we saw in the Super Team Arkosh's game, can carry the game if he has like good enough matchups. So I can sort of see the reasoning here. And honestly, Gunner's like a early pick hero type of guy. He's not really a hold your pick
Dire
to last
team
pick and get all the matchups.
Elder Titan.
The way that you're talking about that reminds me of my fan drafts. You know, sort of play that out. Never, I'm not going to go down this
No,
rabbit hole,
but because like
I've been talking about for years.
the concept makes sense, right? Like
Right.
10 seconds remaining.
it's about that like the value per the pick, right? Because
Exactly.
5 seconds
there
remaining.
is a trade-off always for when you pick something. Like last game we saw from 4 Zoomers where they picked that Invoker on 8, and the value is that they're getting this hero, but the trade-off is that like your draft is really susceptible because you open 2 cores, and we saw them sort of get punished for that. You know, maybe the value wasn't worth the trade-off. This time, like we'll see with like the Storm pick here and see if like maybe picking a carry would have been better. I mean, we won't even know because it's hard to assess stuff in Dota. It's really complicated, but I think that's the idea.
So tell me what 4 Zoomers has left for their draft. They drafted 4. They need the hard carry.
Yeah, they probably need a
Dire
carry.
team
And if,
back.
like, we don't know if Axe is going to be... Okay, so I go straight back for the Invoker.
Okay.
A much better Invoker game this time, right? Like, he's against Storm, which is already a good matchup. I mean, the teams are flipped, but this is like, maybe it's a Gunner specialty. This is, I think, when Brawl would feel very comfortable
10
about it.
seconds
He has a really
remaining.
good setup for Cataclysm later, and they have a lot of team fight to back him up.
5 seconds remaining.
Another thing. Oh, sorry.
for
I'm
it.
so sorry. I was just gonna say it's really
Radiant
interesting
team
because
back.
this time, according to Pop Chart, Undying had first pick, so now 4 Zoomers choose Radiant, and I wonder how that's going to affect it last time because last time Undying picked Radiant. So maybe we have 2 teams that both prefer Radiant side, and I think who was it? Maybe 1437 yesterday said that it's like easier. It's a
10
little bit
seconds
easier
remaining.
on Radiant side.
It's like certain things are easier on both
5
sides, and it
seconds
depends on
remaining.
what you're sort of prioritizing. Is it? And if you ask me what it is that those things are, I don't remember. Move
It's
on.
so Radiant has better lanes and Roshan control, and Dire has better neutral camps.
Yeah, what he said exactly.
So, and this is the first time in like Dota history, I think, where Dara has actually had a win rate advantage qualifiers or like pro matches. Usually it's always Radiant.
God, thank God AUI knows because I had no idea either, Lyrical. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man, I hope
One of
these
the-
guys know.
Exactly. So we got him. But,
Dire
yeah,
team
so
back.
last round of bans, they're taking out that next tier of carries.
Life
Both
Stealer
teams
as
are looking
mentioned.
for theirs. I'm kind of wondering if there's enough of them taken, if Undying just swapped this axe over to carry. I feel like that's something that fits really with Motto's play style too. He can be
10
very
seconds
aggressive. Like he plays
remaining.
a lot of these Monkey Kings or like other heroes like that where you want to get like up and
5
involved
seconds
early on.
remaining.
We even saw in his last game, he went 9-0 on the Axe, right? Like it's
Yeah.
definitely an option for them.
Radiant team back.
Gyro still in the pool, as mentioned. Drow out. Who's this last ban gonna be? Definitely another carry, but who's even left?
It's sort of weird because these situations where literally like 10
10
carries are
seconds
banned out from the
remaining.
pool, sometimes it means that you're actually at an advantage for
5
first pick
seconds
if you don't
remaining.
team Undying. Because you're
Right.
gonna grab legit the only carry left in the pool, and the enemy team's gonna be like, I have nothing left. or there's only going to be like 2 or 3 carries left. You're like, okay, I can get the one carry that counters these
Dire
2,
team
and then your draft is not simple. It's just a weird dynamic because usually like picking after your opponent's better.
Doom. What about more? Oh, no, Morph Band. Never mind. Take it back.
Doom ban, huh? Okay,
Yep.
so they thought they're going for the axe carry as you mentioned.
Right.
Probably.
Radiant
Probably
team
what they'll
pick.
still do.
Timber saw!
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Zoomers were going to go for like a bristle or something. They definitely can't do that now with the temper.
And
What
again,
is-
like you're saying, like they might go for a bristle or something. But like, what's left in the carry pool that's good versus Timbersaw?
10
Right.
seconds
I know
remaining.
it's
Ursa?
Gyrocopter.
Is Ursa in the pool?
No,
5
Ursa's
seconds
banned.
Ursa
remaining.
band.
Morphling's banned. These are traditionally the 3 heroes.
Faceless Void.
Choose your
There's a
hero.
basis with- That actually is a hero that's still good. Everyone hates Gyrocopter. It's not that good a hero. It's a terrible win rate. I just have a thing for the hero.
All right, personal preference, just like a Darkseer for Lyrical. Oh, it looks like we have the draft set, but it looked like, you know, with all of the carries getting banned out, it seemed kind of like people had to settle. So which draft is better?
So for me, I think Undying draft is way more robust than 4 Zoomers. It's not to say that they can't win on 4 Zoomers. I think the Phoenix Nick support duo, like we saw the Animator and ESL 1, like it's terrifying to play against. And you combine it with what I think is overall a really good Storm game, and I think these 3 heroes should take over the game.
What are your thoughts,
An
Lyrical?
Invoker game? Overall, an Invoker game. Yeah, I'm actually going to go the other way. I believe in this Dragon Knight. I believe in Gunner's Storm Spirit, you know? He's playing against a Nyx, against this like Invoker that might control him, but he played really impressively into a puck in the last series. It felt like he was on that day, and I just think that they're going to be able to, I think he's going to be able to carry it. I believe in the Zoom.
Nice. Plus, Gunner picked the Storm Spirit that you were asking for. You asked for it, and he delivered. So you're pretty much obligated, contractually signed to root for 4 Zoomers in this game. Me, I think I do like Undying's draft. I've seen a lot of interesting Void plays in this tournament, Eternal Envy. But I mean, I just like Undying's overall composition and the way that they were able to take Axe first and then flex him in whatever way they wanted. It just felt like a draft advantage in that sense. But we will see which draft works out as we get into game 2 of Zoomers versus Undying with Lyrical and AUI. Gentlemen, take it away.
Indeed,
Prepare
we're into the
for
game
battle.
already, and there are no pauses this time. It's all gone. We're just going right on into it. I really do like the Undying draft. How do you see this like sort of working out over the like sort of 10 minutes or so? Because that's been the point in time where I feel like we've seen Zoomers be the strongest. Their early game momentum that they've been able to build. Do you think that Undying are going to be able to match that tempo?
I think so this game. The thing is, the early game this game is, I know you've heard this before, but when there's an Alchemist pick, it's an Alchemist game, you know? When there's a Nagasiren pick last game, it's a Nagasiren game where you just split push until you horribly lose because the hero is just absolute pathetic trash. But this game, it's a Timbersaw game, at least for the early game.
30
He is going to
seconds
lane
to
against
battle.
Outer Titan and a Faceless Void, I think. I mean, they might try and do something weird, but that's our normal default here. And I think he should have a really good game. A lot of the early game this game will come down to if Gunner has a good enough lane to shut down the Timbersaw. Because the Timbersaw starts rolling this game, you know, he gets to that Hood, Soul Ring, Mana Boots, these types of items. Like, I'm not sure they can really stop his play this game.
Well, that's going to be the
The
thing that we want to
battle
watch
begins.
for sure. Can they shut down that Timber? Can they make him sad?
And take a look at the bottom safe lane for Zoomers. Sammy Boys actually started to cut all the trees because it's been very meta for Timber Saws. I mean, the reactive armor got nerfed really hard on level 1 to just keep spamming Timber Chain first. Yes, you can't do that if there are no trees.
That's great. Very cool idea there, indeed. And I imagine that we're going to keep on seeing that as he is already body blocking the wave, making sure that it comes back to me to position. Husky and Moon gonna be battling slightly there as well. Boots first already on this next assassin. So this lane, maybe if Sammy can do a little bit more of these tree cutting shenanigans and make that stuff work, things can be slightly stronger here for them, but at least for the moment, gonna be dealing with a lot of harassment.
You know, the more I think about it, I actually really like the Timbersaw pick because one of the counters to carry Axe is to go aggro. Oh, top lane, Duba's getting really low here.
Going for it, trying to find him, but won't be able to.
Like we saw even at the Animajor, Ame when he got tri-laned, like he was bottom net worth on the cores in lane because Axe just, his stats aren't that good if there are 3 heroes. They're not bad when there are 2. You can, you know, Battle Hunger is a great tool, but it doesn't do that much when you increase the number of heroes in the lane. But you cannot go aggro and you're gonna have to put a Dragon Knight versus Timbersaw in lane. So that was a good choice by them there.
That's what we like to see, and I think that that is one of the better answers that we've seen Dragon Knight time again. I'm a little surprised that we didn't see it banned out, particularly considering that we've had Tomato play this carry axe multiple times, but nonetheless, it's what ended up happening, and we'll see how it works for them all. At least out of the early going, nothing really standing out as being particularly bad. You can see that in the mid lane, you know, 11-0 versus 10-1, very even so far here. Not sure if that one was a range creep deny or not, but Gunnar slightly ahead in terms of that XP. Keeping our eyes on it. Bottle coming out. He already has it on the Storm Spirit. Ryle obviously not going 1.
Dire's
Does
middle
mean there's
tower
going to be
is
no
under
water
attack.
rune. Gunnar, he's going to have to head on back.
That's huge because he's on 100 mana right now with 0 bottle charges already. Even though the CS was in his favor, he sort of spent all his resources. The reason why Invoker is good in this lane is that you can just sort of spam
Dire's
the
turret
EMP
has been killed.
onto Storm and you can't really get out of it. And then once there's no mana, you can out CS and harass him. We actually saw
Radiant's
damage here.
courier
Is he in
has been
trouble?
killed.
Chase down coming from Dubu has another one of those spirits. That's not going to be enough.
But Dubu, now he's in position to stack. He's chased away the enemy support and knows where he is. He's feeling not bad about this. You know, Ocean, he puts out the sentry. They try to get the board, but Brow with a nice deny there. And Tomato's actually getting quite pressured in lane by DK. And Dragon Knight, this hero always surprises me by how strong he is in lane.
I can't believe what we're seeing! What just
The
happened?
Dragon Tail is super annoying. It's
It
like
is.
crazy that it's 70 mana for 70 damage, then you also get 2.5 second stuns. You're just punching them the whole time as well.
Yeah, it's one of those spells where you use on them, and it's like very common to stun your opponent and then deny a creep. But Dragon Tail, like, you use it, you punch them, you get a deny, and then you get another deny before they have to, before they're unstunned. It's a crazy spell.
Moon making that rotation towards mid for a second, but Ocean is already there to refill the bottle and heal up Gunnar a little bit, so doesn't really have an opening to make anything happen there. Bryle tried to go for a cute little play there, stop him from getting that CS, but doesn't end up working. And with that bottle refill, that helps out Gunnar's lane quite a lot. And he also has a bounty rune to come back to afterwards.
That's a huge salvage because Storm needs to have resources this game. We mentioned earlier, like a lot of this game is going to come down to how Gunnar can control Saberlight. Because like you can already see at bottom, like Samuel, he's getting a little bit low. Saberlight spamming his spells on him. You just go for 2 Timber Chain at level 3 or 4, and yeah, like you can try to sustain with Time Walk, but it's a 4-second cooldown versus your 18-second cooldown right now.
Yeah, very annoying. And they keep that pressure on. Husky is going to move on in and has the salve for afterwards, cutting down those trees as much as possible. Now, obviously, once level 6 comes around, then he's just going to have to skedaddle on out of here. Be a bit too much.
Brow actually he missed the EMP
Dire's
there, and that's really
structures are
big for Gunnar.
fortified.
Because EMP, of course, it gives mana back to Invoker. Oh,
Chance? Moon. Maybe in a little bit of trouble here. They have the ability to chase him down. But that was a good job there to keep that pressure onto the next assassin. Bryle's doing pretty.
and this is something that supports have gotten really good at, just getting these sacks off. But there is a little bit of read from 4 Zoomers. They've pre-blocked the enemy Ancients. When you stack these camps, you'll keep your camera over and listen to that sound. But the thing is, sometimes Dota betrays you, so he might not even realize that he missed a stack with no sound, you know? You just think, oh, it's bugged, I didn't hear a sound. Right. That's economic damage right there, already stopping the Axe's carry progression.
Yeah, really
Kill them
good
all,
stuff.
kill them all.
So they're doing a good job in that way regard at least. You can
Class.
see that they have both Ocean and Husky set up in the mid lane here.
classic for Zoomers role-playing VG Gaming literally bring their 2 supports to mid lane at 5 minutes and 15 seconds every single game, try to use a catapult. This game, though, they're going for something
Radiant
different.
are scanning.
They know about the stacks, that's why. This is a really good read.
Yeah, Gunner just got level 6. They're going to go on and try and find that gadget.
Dire's turret has been killed.
Unbelievable, we're seeing! What just happened?
See this guy play it. That was
Husky
nice.
just smacks him, takes the first blood. Stupid core doesn't deserve the kill. I called the smoke, give it to me. It's a really good mentality.
Yeah, definitely.
Kill them all,
See,
kill them all.
Moon, though, gonna try and sneak this one away, but Bushwhack will put an end to that one. And in fact, if they're not careful, Moon might end up. Oh my god, is he gonna get that bounty? We'll get it denied away. Big jump. Pull back in. Turns into the stun, looking for a kill, and they're gonna give that one to Gun.
Unbelievable, we're seeing! What just happened?
Well, bottom lane though, Saberlight has his level 6, he has Mana Boots and Soul Ring, and I don't know if Sammy Boy can sustain here. He has to play very safe. Meanwhile, there's like a wagon who's going to eventually pressure the tower, and once the Chakram comes out, it's very hard to stay in the lane.
Saberlight's doing a good job too. He doesn't want to get like time dilated on multiple spells, so he's not just using his whole pool right now. Sammy's going to be have to
Radiant's
jump away
bottom
from it
tower
afterwards.
is under attack.
Yeah, they do have the Chrono now, and Storm is going back to base. I'd like to see them TP a support down here and
that
kill
one,
him and kill the 3 heroes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
For a kill, as Dubu able to get that one. So they did manage to take away the stacks from but they did at least find that kill on him. And now Brax is moving over to come and try and contest yet again. No question mark as it's all happening. Tomato breaks the salve, finds the stun.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Huskies there as well.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tornado Trial, EMP will put a stop to that. He did manage to take most of the stack. Have another pause coming out. Not sure exactly what's
Yes.
going on.
I love pauses.
Do you now? Really?
Yes, everyone loves pauses. The audience, the casters, the players really want more pauses in Dota.
Absolutely. Well, so far a very slow game. 2-1 in terms of the skill score at 7-minute mark. We have coming up. Looks like it's going to be Pred soon for Storm. He is right now the highest CS in the game, not quite the highest net worth. That honor is actually on Brax, who's had a really good series so far.
Yeah, we saw for sure Brax has been playing phenomenally. Not just wait, did you say good last series today? Because he played really well versus Bumblebees.
He's just a good player, man. Take
He
it
is
whenever
very
you want.
good. Brax is like one of those guys who's been grinding out for years, you know. Ever since like LGD int, he's sort of been like sort of on the verge of like breaking through, and honestly, he's one of the guys who I think like I'd really like to see him at TI. That being said, it's like the same for like some of the guys on Undying, right? With like Tomato and
sucks.
Bryle, even the return of Moon Meander.
I mean, that's what's so tough about this, right? Like, both of these teams have just such great stories. Whether it's the Zoomers who like stuck together through thick and thin throughout like multiple years, trying to get better together as a squad, or whether it's Undying, sort of like having these sages from, you know, the past come back and lead a new generation. And I did an interview with Tomato, and we sort of talked about his desire to play competitively and like, you know, get back into it after going back down to South America for a little while and now coming back and playing NA region. It's like he's sort of trying to revitalize his career as well. It's a story of revitalization. All of these teams. Fortunately, can only be one person that wins.
For sure. Now that's just the harsh reality of competition, right? Like,
And it's not you, Aoi. It's not you. You don't get to win.
no,
Sorry.
I played on the Arkosh. There's no way we're winning anything. The fact that
No.
we won some games is also a little bit embarrassing for the region. But I want to mention this game. Oh, actually, I want to talk about one thing, because there's some all chat going on between the teams. I know you've muted them for the voice lines.
Right, of course.
But what I find interesting is, in this day and age, oftentimes the players have muted so many of each other that when the game is paused, they don't know whether they're allowed to unpause or not because they're all muted. They don't see the goals. I just think it's a really funny thing that just happens now. It's just for no reason. OG, like that, just teams have to mute each other.
This is why we need the admin to unpause. That's what needs to happen.
I feel like
eventually.
admins should do that. Actually, I think admins should be the only ones allowed to unpause personally, but I don't think it's that big a deal.
But players can pause, but they can't pause.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think
like
that would
that.
just be fair. But
Yeah.
anyways, One thing that I'm a little bit like, the game has felt a little bit slow, but I'm
Right.
surprised that there hasn't been more stacks on Dire. I mean, we saw Moon go for the ancient stack and it was blocked, but this hard camp is like not stacked at all in a triangle. Usually when you have Axe, you expect to see more stacks. Maybe it's just, you know, Nyx is a melee hero. Maybe he didn't prioritize it. He did get both water runes this game, which helped mid a lot. But yeah, I'm just a thing to note, because Axe will ult farm carry Void if he has stacks specifically.
I did manage to see, by the way, can look at the program feed for us that Gunnar said what's up and nobody responded. So I'm assuming
That's
that
right,
they all
he's-
have Gunnar muted.
No,
as
look how
well.
many chat lines he's using. He's 100%
Yeah.
muted. It's all like
Totally.
these guys play pubs every day together.
Yeah.
It's not like they hate each other. It's just, oh, look at Sammy Boy
Radiant's
has Saberlight
bottom
unmuted.
tower
I'm
is
keeping
under
a mental
attack.
note of that. Saberlight's a good mannered player, that means, aka not spamming chat wheel.
You like to see it.
And we can see at bottom, Ocean, he's just trying to drag the creep wave alive. He wants to tear it up, just drag the creeps out and get EXP.
Gonna have no tail in a squirrel's getting chopped up. Get out of there, Ocean. It's not safe. This push black out. Trying to hide away, but the
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
at these plays, they're also actually taking that top tier 1 tower as well. So there's a trade-off that's happening here.
For sure. He's playing, oh, get them alive?
Dire's top tower has fallen.
He wouldn't have brought it with that hit anyways. It's 17 HP.
Double
Actually, maybe
damage.
68 damage. That's pretty high.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
These
Radiant
plays where, like, you try to
structures are
drag the creep
fortified.
wave away from the tower and keep it alive longer. They're very weird, because even when you succeed like that, if you die, I don't know how much it's worth, because it's not like you got control over the area. You sort of just like delayed Timbersaw a bit in
Radiant's
exchange for a
bottom
kill. It wasn't
tower
like
is under attack.
now you're gonna defend
Radiant's
the tower or
bottom
got a lot
tower
of
has
EXP.
fallen.
So
Right,
it's curious to think about, because like the default is just to do that. It's not like Ocean did something bad there, or
No,
like
of course.
even unnatural. It's just I don't know what the actual end result is, because I mean it's so hard to calculate things in Dota. There's so many variables and stuff going
Look
on.
at this though. Ryle underneath the ward. They're not quite gonna get him there. He just walks away the other side. I guess that's one of the things that's interesting there, right? Like, because when Wyvern does that, one of those other heroes, what you end up seeing, like, you know, the whole creep wave dies to Splinter Blast or something, and then you get the dying creep wave. But in this situation, it didn't really end up happening that way. Right now, at
Stupendous.
least, Rax also about 1,000 gold away from Blink Dagger. We've got the Fairies Trinket on Storm. On the side of Undying, what are they looking for as far as like their timing? This Timbersaw's already taken his tower. Do they try and head mid next?
I think they probably want to just chill for a little bit. They don't have the levels on their supports to make the move yet. I think their first move is sort of going to come with the 10 minutes, the Tome onto Nyx. He won't be level 6 yet, but Dubu is really high level this game because Axe, you know, he cleared those stacks with jungle early. He's been doing what Hoodwink sort of did top, but except without dying. Ooh,
Looking for me?
Quick jump. They got the pull afterwards and the dive away from Dubu. Husky tries to catch him. Might be able to. They will TP out, but looks like Husky, again, as happened a lot last game, will be the one sack there.
And that's huge because now Moon Meander gets to take mid up. He's sort of been self-sacrificial this game. We saw him like try to snipe that top bounce rune and etc. Now he gets to take a lane and take the book and get his level 6. I think that play by Undying, it looks really small, but I like the idea of what they did. Like, they don't have any timings. So what you should do is not like just spread out AFK and split up farm, you know? What you should do is like think about what your opponent's gonna do. They have a little bit of strength over you, they might make a low punch
No
ball,
money.
and instantly like Saberlight's ready to TP back really rotating. And now with the level 6 of Phoenix, you do have your play. You just stay proactive while you don't have time.
Rax. They get jumped on this top side, and yeah, it'll be a pretty easy kill. They don't even have to use
Radiant's
that
top
Dog
tower
Crouch.
is under
They can
attack.
make this move with the tier 1 tower taken in the catapult.
Radiant
Can there
structures
be any
are
counterplay
fortified.
right now for Zoomers? It does look like they're smoked up Gunnar and Ocean and looking for somebody, but nobody's home. Maybe
Yeah.
a chance, Tomato? Oh, this would be a nice kill if they could connect
Radiant's
with this.
top tower is under
Oh,
attack.
do they spot him? They do. Okay, so they get vision.
Oh,
Ready to jump.
yeah,
Not
that's
available.
all.
Trying to find him. Queuing it up, but the
Not
call able to
myself,
interrupt,
don't duck.
and they just don't connect. Gunnar didn't go
Dire's
for the pull
bottom
there.
tower is under
Radiant's
attack.
top
Top tower has fallen.
but not huge.
Honestly, a little bit of clutch call from Tomato, right? Like Gunnar knew that he needed a little bit more damage. His smoke broke a bit earlier than he wanted, and like, you know, a little side step from Tomato means you missed the first zip damage, which means like the second zip for the pose a bit harder. And honestly, good reaction from 4 Zoomers. They messed up the initiation a bit, and they were just like, okay, let's let it go. Don't commit harder and double down on our mistake. It's okay to just make a mistake. And as a result, like, it's Storm and Hoodwink both die there. Like, this game is it's looking real bad, right? But now they're still gonna play Dota. I mean, I don't favor them in terms of map control this game for sure, especially with that top tower dying, making it harder to enter their jungle. But there's still a game of Dota to be played here.
We'll watch for it. 12 minutes in, and
Invisibility.
this is probably one of the big things they've been waiting for on 4 Zoomers to really get that initiation going. See if Brax decides to group up with his team around this now. We have coming over there. Ocean, a sharpshooter back up again. Got the TP coming in from Gunner. Also, he's gonna have a
Radiant
full
are
mana pool.
scanning.
Did Brax show his blink dagger on that last creep there?
I don't think so.
He's TPing bottom though.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
they saw Moon over here on this ward, but then he backs out and realizes it.
They're gonna
They still see him. They can jump him here. Ow, right on top of where's the dust? Didn't have anything. All right, that was weird. He
Okay.
literally blinked right on top of Moon.
The thing is, like, a blink dagger on your off lane, this early is sort of like an investment, because blink doesn't give you any stats, it doesn't help you scale. What it does is it lets you kill. If you do not get a kill with the item immediately when you get it, you're basically like missing your
Radiant's
time.
bottom
You're
tower is
essentially
under
like
attack.
removing damage to your opponent and like not getting some gold on your own. It's a big deal that this doesn't connect.
Well, maybe get a second chance at it here. I mean, they spot all these creeps stacked up. Ocean gonna get chased out a little bit again. Gunner's still hanging around this area. But it will be Undying that still hold this side of the map. Now, at the same time, you do have Sammy that's down bottom getting consistent farm for himself as well. So maybe right now, Zoomers are just feeling like not super pressured to make moves because they know that they've got a farming void.
That's a
But
good
definitely
point.
feeling like they're missing an opportunity with the blink on
I think
Brax.
especially with the fact that they blocked the enemy ancients for so long, they don't feel as pressured as you would normally. Because at the animator, like, I saw Alme with a 13-minute Manta style, you know?
Right.
Like, Brax is still quite far from his Manta, specifically because he didn't have stacks.
Thought he was gonna go on that one. Region. Oh, Gunner able to bottle it.
Radiant's middle
Battle in the
tower
run
is
to
under
the right.
attack.
Move right on top of it. Back in afterwards.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
Taking a lot of hits. Fluid. Killing goes down. Oh, now the stun after. He's dead for 30 seconds. They didn't pop the ending. And I think they got it back out. Too dead for that. Greedy. A little bit greedy.
Honestly, that was just a beast play by Moon.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is
Good
under attack.
recognition. They have the catch now onto Saberlight, but as soon as he pops that hood, they just have to back away. No Storm still up for 5 seconds. Dying, starting to take a little bit of a lead now in this game.
Yeah, he just straight baited a Storm Spirit who had it.
I'm over
He
here.
was going for that patented zip onto hard camp play that he
Where's the
talked about.
party?
Perfect.
Maybe there's a guy there, maybe there's not, but I just died. I'm gonna use this region rune to farm and catch up.
No, he's going to be underneath
Let
the
the
ward here.
fun
He's gonna be
begin.
right underneath the ward here. Gunner is caught. He still has a good mana pool, but can they get the stun?
No!
Tragic. Dead into death into hip. Classic.
That's a rough one. Perfect read on the map from Undying there. We're really starting to see, like, this is why Invoker is a good pick for Storm. Whereas, like, Anti-Mage, Ember, Storm, Void Spirit, what you do is you throw out your Tornado, you Code Snap them, and then when they land, the Tornado actually instant procs the Code Snap again. So it easily sets up any stuff like Nick Stun, Lion Stun, whatever other catch you have. You change your spells and, you know, you just do a lot of damage and you'll catch these elusive heroes. It's part of the reason, like this Storm pick on the third pick, it sort of broke draft structure. Like, you wanted to be able to flex DK, and Undying in both games, I feel like they've done a good job at punishing. Oh, 1 second here, mid.
Yeah, they're going to get him. Ocean. Oh, wait a minute. Ocean.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Get away. No. Goes down there. Dude, I think Saberlight's a beast.
He is. He really is. And it's all to do with the fact that they broke draft. Like normally you would be able to get a mid hero that deals with this Timbersaw from their position in the draft or also that you can 1v1 them and you go Eggo versus Axe. But because of how they drafted, they were so inflexible that Undying punished them. It was the same story in game 1. You picked up Volker Axe like that, you're vulnerable if the opponent chooses to do it. And like, look at this Timbersaw, like he's getting stomped in the enemy tier 1.
Right.
He doesn't care. There's nothing that touches us in this game because you have
Radiant's
you don't have
middle
like a
tower
Nashak mid,
is
you don't
under
have a
attack.
Batrider mid, you have a Storm Spear.
I mean, some of the things too that's ended up working out so well in this game has been like the warding game. Constantly in their favor. Right now, they do jump forward and find that Invoker. Body into the sun again. All right, let's back afterwards. Trying to get out. The Chrono, the big old
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
One's gonna pop.
Whoa, what a miss!
Invoker ends up going down, but Brash looking for the follow-up kill. Why they drafted that Dragon Age. The chase going. They managed to find 2 with that Chrono. And Zoomer's getting a little bit of much-needed life in this one.
A little bit of Kyle bleeding into me here, a little bit of a cast to curse, but for Zoomers, they recognize the situation. Like, talk about this game way too harshly. Like, this game's not over at all, and they're making the right plays. You know, the enemy's being cocky. They're bringing 4 kills to their triangle, bring 5 and punish them.
Right.
And as a result, they get 2 kills, and you know that's big swing. However, now you don't have ETLT, you don't have Chronosphere, their mid towers are 300 HP.
Radiant's middle
Look at
tower
Undying,
is
they're
under
ready
attack.
to take heroes from mid. They just want to
Radiant
finish off this
structures
objective
are
and be able to take
fortified.
rapid control.
This is what you need to do on Undying for sure. Is punish those long cooldowns and Husky yet again. Sort of stuffs that we're seeing. Very good for Undying. It does again slow
Radiant's
down that push,
middle
but only for a
tower
second.
is
These
under
towers
attack.
going down. In the meantime,
Radiant's
Brax is
middle
gonna
tower
try and
has
pressure up
fallen.
top a little bit here. 3,000 gold lead. Probably thinking towards Roche in the next little bit. As Saberlight, he's not even gonna let Brax get away with it for a second. His Yules. Oh no, Brax. What is he meant to do at this point now? They get freaking Sunray on him. Brax trying to attack, but to no avail. It is. It's like these little moments where it feels like Zoomers are, you know, things are kind of going good for a second, and then a couple of them randomly die around the map.
Yeah, and one thing I have noted is that, holy crap, Sammy Boy is so farmed on Phases. I can't believe he's out farming an Axe.
Right.
Like Phases Void is not a hero that farms fast, but maybe he got the last hit on Brow there and it was really big in that last engagement. Let me actually see.
You take a look, see at that one. We'll keep.
Yeah,
our eyes
he did
open
get the
for
last hit
stuff.
on Brow, but he's managed to go ahead of Axe when he's so high. Like, you don't see that on Phases Void very often, so I want to commend him there for that. But still, like, it's looking a little Pepe sauce. Like, as soon as Axe get his blink and his shard, they're just gonna non-stop aggression on the side of Undying. This time they do have a carry hero, unlike 4Zoomer's lineup last time that uses Alacrity in the Axe. You know, how are they solving the Timbersaw? I'm not seeing any solutions come out right now.
It's gonna be tough, definitely. We'll have to see if they can get into those items later on, whether it's vessel or something else. But at least now, as we get closer and closer to that 20-minute mark, they are trying to again make a bit of a move up towards this top side of the map. Ryle, the Aghanim step up, getting close to it, and Ocean.
I'm over here.
Easy. Again, this pickoff game is what you're looking for if you're the 4Zoomers.
Really good kills coming out from them here, and specifically good for Ocean because honestly he was the bottom network hero in this game. He still is, but he also was back then. But now at least he gets a kill and he's like starting to shape up a bit. You know, he maybe gets a 20-minute tone, gets to level 2 ulti, and he can increase this pickoff game that you're talking about. I also wanted to note that Ocean was able to get 2 very crucial D wards. He got one both on his hill in the triangle and in the enemy jungle to the left side of the outpost there. Those are very important because that pickoff doesn't happen if Undying has vision.
Right. You need to sort of get
Dire's
that down,
top
and that was
tower
one of
is
the
under
ways that, you know,
attack.
Gunnar got picked off that second death as well. Been right on top of that other ward. Tomato, like you had mentioned, has Well done now, also getting into that level 15 talent. It is kind of interesting at this point how far away from the rest of his team is playing, trying to sort of keep it constantly shoved in along this bottom lane and then farm out the rest of the jungle. But yeah, he's going to TP, try and group up with his team now, it looks like.
For sure, but Tomato hasn't seen an enemy hero in the last like 15 minutes of this game. Right. And even in those first 5 minutes, he's like only the lane.
Right, big opportunity here. Brax showing in the mid lane, so is Sammy. They're moving together. Tomato goes for the call, finds one.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You have a Chronosphere available now. What do Undying want to do with this kill? It looks like just try and translate it into more if possible. Sammy doesn't appear to care, but should a little bit.
I think this kill is basically just for map control. You just want to keep hunting down.
Dire's top tower is under
I
attack.
think he might have him. A little bit off in the angle there.
Round 2 now. Sammy. Dual Scepter by Saberlight.
Radiant's
Already
bottom
used
tower
now.
is under attack.
Time dilation, not gonna matter. They're fine. So just resetting the fight.
Timbersaw still a big problem, and you see, I just don't understand how is Sammy Boy so high net worth. Like, this is so weird to me. Because like when I think of baseball, he's like Spectre, you know, like you hit creeps one by one, nothing's dying. You just if you get forced to jungle early,
Radiant's
you should
middle tower is under
it's like,
attack.
he even got kicked out of lane relatively early. He went to the jungle. I guess it's, I don't know. He's hit a lot of lane creeps. That has to be it. Maybe he does something on carry I'm gonna have to watch after.
He does have 233 last hit.
That is a lot of CS for a face hero. Over 10 CS on a hero that has no nukes.
Yeah. Well, again, Sammy, disillusion there.
Radiant's
Moon,
bottom tower
right on
is
top
under
of just
attack.
use time off the carry, but on in there, Cataclysm afterwards. Sammy, get it on the second away, mountains to dust.
I said good day.
Gets the kill, stomp afterwards, Persian tries to escape. Looks like he has an avenue, but will it be enough? Dual Scepter left up there, the egg even pops. And you don't even want to give him a chance to chase down It's good. Dude,
That's Roche. What just happened? Did Sammy
Radiant's
Boy
middle
try and
tower
bait
is under
mid by
attack.
using time walk? Like it found him or something?
I'm not sure.
because
That was very
that-
strange.
That was almost sick. They got the turnaround. They used Cataclysm only on the face of it. I'm like, holy crap, Sammy Boy's gonna bait this, time walk in, and Chrono Mod, they're gonna win the game here. And I clicked on him, and he had 2 seconds left on time walk.
Yeah.
Like, it made no sense. Like, he got, I don't even know when he time walked, but he knew they were coming.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Seems to be like cocky enough to use his time walk there. Just a little bit questionable of a decision there from him.
Well, and again, you know, if it's half a second later,
Just
Laid
down.
waste.
right? That's good.
Okay, he's going back with the Haitian to pick it up.
You know, you get half a second difference right there, and that's suddenly going to be a better position. They try the Nyx now. Get for that jump. Tomato not going to be able to come to interrupt
Radiant's
this.
top tower is under attack.
Yeah, good punish from the four zoomers there.
engaged.
Anytime like a hero walks in there, you have to take the kill. Like just use some spells, even if you have to use your sharpshooter, some DKLTs, you stun them, take the kill. You can't let them walk in there and just give up the entire map.
Well, 7 of 14, 6,000 gold lead now. Undying, doing everything right at this point in time. They don't have egg for 25, and we do still have the Chronosphere available
Radiant
on
are
the Zoomers,
scanning.
but also, likewise, Cataclysm is available for the Undying squad.
Oh, Tomato?
Jumps. Ooh. That was scary.
I think he cancelled that because he didn't see anyone beside him, but he actually would have hit Sammy Boy in the fog there. That
What
was
are all these
crazy
drawings
scary.
on the map? I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of drawings happening to push out lanes. That's what it looks like, at least.
Those look sort of tilty. Like, you know, it's not the calm line. Like, okay, so my armchair Reddit psychoanalysis here.
Perfect.
Sammy Boy Judo's lines. He's very, he's just seething right now because of the last kill.
Yeah, that's great.
E.T.'s dead. E.T.'s alive. Hunters, he's dead. He's alive.
Wooden Bob.
amazing massacre. Instead, it might be Moon that goes down.
Dire's courier
They jump
has
in.
been
Ooh,
killed.
but the end is...
Come and get it.
Come on, maybe even it won't save you from that. As Gunner goes
Radiant's
down
middle tower
again.
is under attack.
Sammy, though, first, trying to make this happen. They don't have buyback on the Storm Spirit. They kill one. They
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Into the meat grinder. They take him down, and now they're trying to salvage something. He wants to
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I have seen the
Dire's top
future.
tower is under attack.
Triple kill.
Tomato.
You get nothing.
His
Good
team
day, sir.
appreciating some greatness.
God, I love
Radiant's
Tomato
middle
Sacks.
tower
Last
is under
game
attack.
against Zoomers, we also hit a Kucha 3-man call at the ramp. on
Radiant's
Roach, and
middle
this time,
tower has
it's always
fallen.
the patience, you know? Everyone in the game is looking at faces for it. But Tomato's
Radiant's
already on the
middle
next
tower
level. He
is under
understands
attack.
the movement of the enemy team. They're all going to try to help the Void, and he calls a 3-man on the backline again. It's just, it's so solid. He's like in the carry mindset, right? Like he can bait his teams, get a little bit more out
Radiant's
of your
bottom
initiation,
tower
and
is
you just
under
make
attack.
the better play for it. Like what a call.
You know, I think that there was this moment at the end of the first season of the DPC. Sat down with him, I talked to him about him, and he had said that he's not taking any breaks. He wasn't taking any breaks. The only thing he was focused on was TI. The only thing he wanted
Radiant's
to talk about
bottom
was
tower
TI.
is under
He didn't-
attack.
he just stayed at home and played Dota that entire time. Like even when his own team was out taking breaks. Like this guy is super motivated, and that hard work is paying off right now. He is carrying his team to the victory, at least in this game number 2. Unless something changes, and Zoomers, they're a very solid team. They've also put in the hard work. They spot Ocean there with that Sunstrike, throwing everything out, trying to get the win. Actually, Ocean manages to escape just barely. Look at
Very
his team.
nifty play.
Cool.
And Tomato, as you said, he's really put the work in. Last time I checked, he was like rank 6, you know, Brow's rank 3. These guys on Undying, like,
Radiant's
there's a
bottom
reason why
tower
they're
is
looking
under
so good.
attack.
They've really put the work in. They've flushed out their concepts. We heard from Tomato, and I noticed personally as well that Moongander, he's
The axe
really good with
blades
the Dota
dazzle.
carrying. Like, he will make you a better player if you're willing to work with him on it, like, and have his ideas. And
Radiant's
he's
bottom
clearly done that
tower
for
has
Tomato. Just
fallen.
such stellar play.
Dire's
Keep
middle
his arm
tower
apart.
is under
But,
attack.
you know, not to hype up Undying too much. Like, I think,
Well, you did it. I just said the first thing.
yeah, like,
This
for
is on you.
Zoomers, no, for this game, you know, because I think they're a fantastic team overall.
Totally.
But this game, the one thing that Four Zoomers does have going for them is that you do have the Storm base defense, and Faces Void is still like that traditionally, I will carry you in this game if it goes late enough.
Right. I mean, there's a part of me that, like, you know, just wants to see Axe Carry not be able to succeed slightly, but you know, at the same time, there's a
smoke
reason
also.
that it's not looked good for or it's sort of struggled previously, and they really run into Husky there. Sammy realizes, oh god, they're in the area. Oh, Swoon find him. They did find Husky, but they can't even get that kill. They don't even get it. They're right. Husky's giving tips now. All right, they got their mojo back. They're ready to go. As soon as you see those tips fly, you know what
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
that one doesn't get hit by the top. Catch on to Sammy Point and jumps away. Set that damage. Has Chronosphere back up if they want to use it now. Thinking about it. Connects on the 3, but where's the follow-up? Where's the damage? Coming through, bringing him down. With the big
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Gunner jumps in down,
Over here
not
now.
a huge mana pool. He has to back out now. So they get 1-2 kills on
I may
Invoker
be
and the Nyx,
faceless,
but
I'm not
we
meaningless.
talked about how they don't have an answer for Saberlight. They don't have an answer for Tomato and Gunner. I mean, if they want to turn him on, it might just be able to get him, or maybe not. Thinking about a jump on Tomato, but Saberlight's still living. Doesn't need to worry about it. Got the kills to do.
And he still has Essence Ring and Bloodstone. He's not worried at all.
What a god.
Did you know that I actually got tricked by this very unreliable person who told me that Bloodstone was dispellable? It's just a heinous act of lying.
I don't know who would do that. That
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
don't
a
know who to do
terrible
that, but
thing.
Bloodstone is actually not dispellable. Just like PSA for everyone out there who I might have checked based off this misinformation.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
And you know, the wiki said it, it's not like it's some malicious thing, but you know, this is Dota, you don't deserve to know
Cuts two
information
ways.
tips on the
didn't
wiki
want-
running game.
I didn't want Arkosh to win. I had to do whatever I could.
I didn't want Arkosh to win, so I'm glad you
that's
did
fair.
that.
Saberlight again. Yeah, like you're saying, he just doesn't have to worry about anything this game right now. Like, his team can get there quickly. Like, he's got a Yule Scepter afterwards, Eternal Shroud. And then, of course, the be-all, end-all item, the Sanj, the mega busted Sanj. Ugh. 31 minutes in, 13,000 gold lead. Again, Zoomers start out with a decent early game and things part in the mid game. Fucking rough for him.
Yeah, it just feels like a draft punishable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Solo kill. Brow's styling a bit. He almost has refresher on Brow, by the way. That's gonna be hype.
Gunner, ooh, wasn't able to catch there. Good. Yeah. 30 net worth of 30 minutes. The highest he's ever had on any hero for Saberlight? Dang.
He is beasting it up. He's 10-0-7. No, he's just a Timbersaw when you pick 2 of your cores already. You only have carry pick left. Like,
Right.
what can you do? Like,
True.
keep a proper draft structure next time.
Radiant's
Honestly,
top
it does
tower
give me hope,
is under
though, right?
attack.
Because I think these 2 games, they've been pretty significant outdrafts by Undying on Zoomers. Draft is the only thing that you can fix in series, basically. Like, everything else, you have to work on it. It takes time. Draft, you can literally go as a drafter. Guys, my bad. This idea is wrong. Let's reset, and then next CNC series, we're gonna take it. And that's sort of what happened, like in the, you know, the Fnatic TNC finals we just had in Southeast Asia. TNC was up 2-0. Fnatic made a draft adjustment.
Radiant
Boom,
are
3-0.
scanning.
Raven literally doesn't die for the rest
Radiant's
of the
top
series.
tower
It was like
is under
45-0
attack.
and 45 is insane. But maybe we'll see that here.
There is a possibility. Forward stun, jump away. 80 fell. Gunner goes in afterwards. BKB is hot. Living for the moment. Wait, Connor's buddy. That's one out of there. It jumps downtown, tries to find a kill. Saberlight turned around upon. Yubu is gonna pull. One man on the one, everything fourth staff. Save the goal. Got him out alive. Turn now forward. Saberlight though is still forward to deal with. The top bloodstone, pop essence ring still has that Yule. The only one left alive on the night. They buy back now. They buy back on Mono. They want to get in and save if they can. The Stomp is there. The Stomp on there. The big ball. Only on the Lucian. Will set the rest of that. Rack is in trouble. Also, a lot of buybacks to get the door. They kept Timber alive.
Oh my god. It looks like there's a chance, boys. They've committed a lot of resources to that fight. The gold might not have swung
Radiant's
that
courier
much,
has been
but,
killed.
but look at the EXP.
Yeah, well that was unfortunate. That was one of the opponents of the Ags there for Gunner on that courier.
Man, they just have such good setups for the Sunstrike. You have Nick Stun, you have Axe
Radiant's
Call,
top
you have
tower is under
Chronosphere.
attack.
But it's like, it's sort of planned, right? Like,
Dire's
he
bottom
uses the
tower
refresher
is under
far away on Invoker.
Regeneration!
I would heavily put that fight, even though they end up losing network, in the favor of Zoomers. It's not about like not having the Storm buyback, it's the fact that when you're behind, you need to create imbalances in the position. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to win the game. The imbalance in the position right now is that there are 3 heroes on Undying who do not have buyback. Those are openings right now. If you kill any of those 3 heroes, you can force an uneven fight. It doesn't matter if your Storm doesn't have buyback. You need to take that risk because you're not winning by standard play.
It's fair, and it's something to watch for here over the next couple of minutes, particularly with this next Roche respawning 8 seconds away. Now, if you're Zoomers, you would love that to be like, you know, 30 seconds longer, because Chrono's still on cooldown. It's
Radiant's
about to
top
respawn
tower
with
is
Bryle
under
in the
attack.
pit, and I think they're just gonna go right away to take it. And this is a tough one. This is really hard because it feels like they have to contest.
Radiant's
This
top
is
tower
HSG's
is under
action
attack.
chart, but it's not gonna be quick enough.
They don't have Chronosphere for another 13 seconds. They're still going to smoke up, but... Oh look, and a McCready carry.
Roshan has fallen to the
Could
down.
happen, and just a couple of seconds too late for the Zoomers mean they are not going to be able to contest that one. Underneath some vision now, this fight is going to be so difficult. They shard onto Saberlight now. Who is it that has the cheese?
Probably... Oh, not Invoker, actually. Maybe Nyx Assassin? Wait. Oh, it's independent. You know, classic NA Dota.
Oh my god, what are you guys doing?
Honestly, like... I don't think it'll make a difference in this game. The thing that Undying has just done is there was some imbalance in the position. You didn't have to give a buyback. You know, you kill the axe again. Potentially, you can snowball and win the game. But you can't do that if he has an Aegis. And it's just going to be 5 minutes of oppression now. And then he's going to buy back up again. So your entire window is gone.
Over here now.
Roshan spot.
Radiant's top
Or
tower
you
is
kill
under
him
attack.
Or
Radiant's top tower
the
is
entire
falling.
team, the enemy throne explosion, you win the game. That is true.
That's how Dota works, Alex. I don't know
Thank
if
you.
knew. Well, it is
Radiant's
almost
top tower
Aghanim
is
Scepter
under
done
attack.
for Gunnar. That's another thing that can sort of hold for him. But yeah, this next tier of items is going to be so strong for Munch.
Tammy Boy did pick up a full Ayascati plus the shard recently.
Okay.
So he's actually having a huge power spike. I was sort of questioning who's going to deal with the Timbersaw. Apparently they're just going to hit him with Scotty, and like that's a lot of regen reduction. Hopefully he dies.
It's good.
I do have a bit of a spoiler though.
What's that?
I don't think he's going to die on Timbersaw.
Okay.
Radiant's
You
top
know,
tower is
you
under
know.
attack.
He's very strong.
Back for what's his item that he's got right now coming out for
Probably
Timber?
Aghanims. Yeah, he's going for the Aghanims. It's just the highest damage item. If you're unkillable in Dota, sometimes the best thing to do is not to just build more tanky, it's to make them feel like they have to kill you. Just build a lot of damage. You RN Jesus off a Spell Prism, and you just, you know, you're gonna own. So
this is
on
wild. Yeah. Oh, he's gonna take that one instead. Interesting. I would have
Yeah.
thought he won the Spell Prism. More survivability. He's got
I
double
think
Yules now.
Growl probably asked for the Spell Prism, so
Radiant
it opened up
are
a slot.
scanning.
And it is quite nice. It'll take
Radiant's
off the
top
time
tower
dilation for
is
him,
under
which is a
attack.
huge deal. You don't have to commit your Yule Scepter for that. And like potentially be able to like dodge some of the spells from the Radiant.
Up from Zoomers, they weren't able to connect in onto Brian. Instead, going to have to just content themselves with pushing out this
Radiant's
wave.
middle tower is under attack.
Be on back home. Dying, recognize the go, and they will smoke out themselves. Aren't able to connect. Find that this net worth lead continues to grow. DD rune that was up top, but nobody picked that one up now. There.
Invisibility.
So, next round of items. Do they have them
Where's the
available
party?
on the Zoomers? They don't yet.
Yeah, and those plays, like both smokes didn't connect. But again, this is sort of bad for Zoomers. Like you need something to happen. You want to force something while the enemy doesn't have their buybacks, even though they have the Aegis. They went for that like sort of sneaky clone of Evoker. That was a great play. But just in general, this series, Undying, like, there's not many 4 Zoomer smokes that have connected. They just went one side and then Undying.
Good jump away there. Is able to connect. Yeah, the inability to connect on the plays really hurts them for sure. And the other thing now is just being stuck inside your base, right? Like you want to get that next tier of items for Zoomers on the neutrals, but
Radiant's top
just
tower
nowhere to
is under
farm.
attack.
Undying keeping them stuck in their base. I am a little surprised that Undying aren't opting to try and like just sort of push high ground, but I guess as you said, there's like so much high ground defense in the storm and you know Faceless Void. It's
Radiant's
like
middle tower is under attack.
I think they're waiting for the Wind Waker on Timbersaw just to make sure nothing bad can happen. But honestly, I do feel a little bit like they're playing a bit too safe. I mean, they don't have much building damage. It's pretty much just Timbersaw's shard. But
Radiant's
there's, like,
bottom tower
there's
is
like
under
45
attack.
seconds on Aegis, and I think they're like seeing it out like, oh, maybe we should have gone already. It's not like they stopped scaling though, so they're not under any pressure.
Take a lot of damage, but baiting out the Cataclysm, and now with Aegis going down, this could be a nice timing for them.
For sure. One of the worst things is you use one Sunstrike or like Black or Ravage. You really don't want to pop your refresher to only use one other one like in 2 minutes before it's up or something. And I mean, again, there still is Storm Dota to be played. He's gonna have a lot of regen, zipping to all your waves.
You guys see that? That Sammy just gave him a
yeah.
smiley face. Like, what the hell? These guys are crazy.
Yep.
Ooh, this would be good for Tomato though, going to level 25, the extra AoE on Berserker's Call. So all these times where it's just been like that little bit difference between them, they'll potentially be able to catch him this time. Apparently
Noise
there's no
outside, sorry.
emergency.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Well, hopefully there's no problems. I don't know who it was that paused.
No, I don't have.
Oh, it was
I may
Brax
be
paused.
faceless,
Uh-oh.
but I'm not maceless.
Brax.
X.
Well, this is going to give us a good opportunity here to sort of just talk about like the way that we've seen this drafting go. Because it feels to me like the way you've talked about this is that's been the main issue. Drafting that they've been able to do and not being able to like, you know, sort of either revealing what their strat was too early or, you know, going for some type of a bit too wild of a counterplay, like with the Naga Siren in game number 1. If you were thinking and you were Zoomers at this point, what would sort of what would your idea be to try and like shut down Undying in the draft? Do you try and just go for like an easy one, or sort of a more quintessential draft? Do you change up like your bands? What's sort of the thing that you'd be looking to do?
So theoretically, I think both teams should have a pretty solid understanding of draft structure, like your stable draft structure. I think most teams in Dota know that. It's about like when you pick your core supports, how you do your counter picks, etc. I think 4 Zoomers are sort of approaching it from like too scared of a mindset. Like they're taking risks in their draft. When you do something outside of standard stable play, it means you're sort of taking a risk. You're hoping it's paying off. I don't mind that because they are sort of going in as underdogs. You want to create like more disparity in the matchup and stuff. But I think maybe they over-indexed on it a little bit too much, or maybe they took risks that just didn't end up paying off. But like from a spectator point of view, with hindsight in the game, like it looks like
That's that AoE. Or step afterwards, BKB out, looking for more. What can they find? The egg is down, Gunner turns down, tries to stay on top of the motto. Don't allow that reinitiation with the tornado. That's a lift up, that's a catch on to Sammy. Jump away afterwards, Cataclysm not gonna connect, not gonna do enough damage. Still hanging on to that chrono. Jump forward, finds it! No! But he's able to get out! Ryo with the big dagger, unreal, and then the step up to the high ground. Sammy trying to hold his son. Saves his life just barely. Big pull in.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Nobody dead.
Radiant structures
reaction
are
there.
fortified.
Kill him all. Honestly, like
Looking for me?
Radiant's top tower is falling.
Big call. Tries to make it work. Afterwards, is it going to be enough though? They use the lift up. Tries to kill. What do they have left in the tank? Brax has another DK form in a second, along with Blink Stun.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Sammy tries to make it work. Bushwhack connecting onto 2 with the stomp.
Radiant's top barracks has
Got his
fallen.
eyes on these
Radiant's
guys,
top
taking
barracks
down the
has
buildings one by one, along with Saberlight. They
Radiant's
just don't
middle
have
tower
the damage.
is under attack.
And they try and jump again to the back line. Looking for more kills on Brax. There's no 5-back on this Facebook Void. Dead for 5 finish. But they have to buy back now.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Hold it desperately. What do they have? He's not even hitting heroes at this point. It's too much damage from Saberlight. Green Machine on this Timber Saw. 12-0 and 10.
Radiant's
What
middle
an
barracks has
immaculate
fallen.
game from him.
Stupendous!
Oh, they're trying to get the bounty runes. How much bounty does
Radiant's
he need?
middle barracks
On
has
Sammy,
fallen.
55 gold only right now.
Radiant's bottom
Gunner
tower
does
is
have a
under
TP,
attack.
so he could zip to the other one. He is going to go
Let
for
the
that.
fun begin!
All right, that's buyback. That's both bounty runes and buyback. They need it.
Radiant's bottom barracks
Gotta
are
go
under
down.
attack.
Go down. Chrono back up in 30 seconds. There's the buyback. No save on the 2. Can they kill him? Finds the back line. BKB out over the head. The double head. Down. Trying to run away. Cataclysm comes out. Got him under control. Trying to kill Tomato desperately. Here I am. He does have buyback. They focus down the rest of these heroes. Ryle. Got that tornado Saberlight. He has the Wind Waker still. The Hex is there. On to Sammy. Force that save yet again. Yes! And with that, and now 37,000 1,000 gold lead. Drax
Let
is
the
gonna get
fun
absolutely
begin.
walloped here if he's not careful. Can they kill Saberlight? The man has been unkillable, unfazable. Nothing has hurt him. The winner jump away. Saberlight, they try and chase, they try and kill. Pull back again, why not? It's not happening. Dota afterwards even, they find fire. But again, Moba's there. They have to heal also. Sharpshooter, there's not enough damage. And Undying, they're covering each other's retreat so effectively. Undying so freaking solid in this one. Gunner, he's finally going to get rid of him. He's going to be triple kill for Tomato. Look at that board. Get this man a bat. Get him cover for his saving. Get the hell out of there. He has nowhere left to jump, nowhere left to hide.
Radiant's bottom victory. Radiant's bottom.
Deny the rampage, but Undying gets a real victory. On the verge of going to TI.
Oh, and again, that